For the Interrobank, I'm Gracia Espinosa, and welcome to this episode, finally, on the Red Couch podcast, Stephin Sathya. I pronounce...
Got it right.
Yeah?
You got the second name right.
The president of Fanshawe Student Union. So, welcome, finally!
Thank you. I know. It was 2 months overdue. We're supposed to do it in November.
Well, but it's on video.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yes, exactly. I wanted a video, right.
So, you know why we are here, but obviously we want to introduce this topic and this referendum to all the students. So obviously between March 4th and 6th, this referendum will be held through Fanshawe Online, but we would like to know the purpose of this vote.
Right. So the referendum is going to be about a food security fee that will be $2 per semester for full-time students. That will be paid by full-time students. And so the idea of this referendum, or the reason that it came to be, stemmed from all the food insecurity issues that the student body is facing, both from the incidents and instances that happen in the community as well as on campus and across the nation, actually. So it's a much larger issue, and this is our way of responding to that and to eventually reduce the impact of food insecurity on campus. So that's why all of this came to end up in the referendum. So it's for a food security fee for $2, and that's why the voting is going to be in March.
When you talk about the security of the food, what you want to say? I mean, what is when they say the purpose is because on your website, I mean the website of FSU obviously explain that this new funding will help improve existing food programs. So I would like to know if this security is related to this improving, or how we can connect these ideas.
Right. So if for those of you who don't know, in the FSU, we have something called as the sharing shop.
Okay.
So the sharing shop is our sort of food bank, right? It's so it used to have its own physical location before the construction started on Innovation Village, and we used to have a space dedicated for it, and we used to do walk-ins and all sorts of things. So it used to function as a proper food bank on campus, and we later transitioned to a support center. And so once we lost our extension of the building, we had to move into much smaller space. So we just used a portion of our building as storage, and we shifted to a gift card system. So students could access a $50 gift card up to 3 times a semester to support in case they're going through food insecurity or they're in a tough spot during that semester. Maybe they don't have a job, they lack hours, and they're struggling to pay their rent and groceries, things like that. So that was how it used to function, right? And last year we had an instance where we went over budget because the forms that were used to being filled actually were shared to the student community in a way that shouldn't have been done. And so we ended up getting a lot of requests, and we don't want to be in a place to decide if someone's in a need or if it's an abuse. So we ended up serving everyone and helping everyone, but it reached a point where it went too much. We went over budget, and we had to immediately shut it down. And over the summer, we reopened it again, but with the help of transition learning advisors from Fanshawe College, and we were doing student referrals. So it decreased a little bit. But then again, the impact on the community increased a lot, and this college stepped in to send an announcement out to the students to inform them of existing resources on campus so that students don't go into the community and overwhelm the community support because they're donation based.
Yeah, because the name is sharing shop. You
Yeah.
have just mentioned. Okay, because that's the question that I have. Is that at risk because with the higher demand, or?
Right.
I mean, because you have just mentioned about the problem that there are food banks who decided to ban international students, and that's why I want to know if the sharing shop is at risk with higher demand, or why is more funding required to sustain it.
So currently the way we operate is we dedicate a very small portion of our budget to the
Okay.
sharing shop because we wanted to operate it as a gift card resource,
Okay.
right? And then we do food hampers every now and then, depending on the capacity that we have. But it was not run as a complete food bank, right?
Okay.
It's more of a crisis support.
Got it.
But because of the increased need, we kept going over budget because we still want to help students. We're not going to say, oh, we reached our limit and we're going to immediately stop. But it has now reached a point where we're running out of budget a lot, right? So we wanted to shift the way we operated, and that is why, because the rest of the amount came from donations from Fanshawe College, sometimes from the Alumni Association, and sometimes from if somebody from the community wants to donate to the food bank, and that's how we sustained it. But it's not a sustainable model because it's based on donations, right? The same way the food banks in the community run and other community kitchens run, it's donation based. It's not a government funded service. There's no constant funding. But when we decided that it's going to be like a food security fee, we wanted to shift the way we did it, right? Because we didn't want to be, again, giving out gift cards because that's not sustainable. We wanted food programming to grow in a larger way. So that's why we are thinking in terms of more free breakfast, more healthier options, like possibly a grocery a way for students to get groceries on campus, and a partnership that can exist. So then we make it available ideally to every campus according to the needs of those campuses, so that it grows bigger than a gift card. We end up providing students a way for them to get their groceries, but or at least have access to free food on campus, so that if a lot of people have early morning classes, right? You come, you might skip the classes, you might be living far away, that takes two buses, you won't have time for getting breakfast. But our hope is that we increase the frequency of those breakfasts on multiple campuses, and we end up serving those students who might be in actual need of getting that free breakfast. They can grab and go. And then when we looked at the numbers, if I give you a gift card, it serves you. But if I use that same amount for that one gift card and I divide it in terms of a free breakfast program, I can end up serving more students, right? So that's what we want to maximize the single dollar, every dollar that we're going to spend, so that we end up serving more students on more campuses, right? And more options for students. So that's the idea. That's the idea behind it.
Of course, you talk about increasing healthy food options. So I would like to know if you heard about students who are upset with the current options for them with the meal plan. I don't know if you heard, or because I would like to know why this is the moment to do this referendum, and it's because you receive feedback about you should improve the higher of the increasing the healthy food options.
So that's also a conversation that we're having with our staff in terms of the existing food services that we have on campuses with the hospitality team. Because yes, I'm aware of the concerns of the students not having healthy options. But I'll tell you one thing. So this was a conversation when I started my presidency, and when it was during the summer, we were actually doing an open house, and a lot of the parents came and asked about healthy options. And I'll tell you one thing. So it's not that the FSU hasn't tried to have healthy options on campus before. They have tried a couple of times, but it doesn't have the same interest as the other options, right? So if we are to provide healthy options, we want to be able to provide it all the year, throughout the year, and we want a lot of students to go for it. If there isn't a lot of students going for the healthy options, then it doesn't make, from an operational point of view, for the hospitality for team to provide that option at the restaurant or the food service station, right? But I will say this though, because we're rethinking the existing food services. One of the things that we put to the hospitality team is like, maybe think, what do students want in terms of healthy food options, right? Obviously, we're doing this referendum, but it is going to be followed by a series of surveys or a big survey to understand how can we tailor this to the students, right? Like dietary options included, right? So not just in terms of healthy food, but okay, we're thinking of healthy foods, so like what other dietary needs is on
Yeah.
campus, and how do we include that in the food programming, not just the referendum but also on our existing food services. We do have halal options, right? We do have vegetarian options, but if
Yeah.
we do include a food security fee, we through the free breakfast or through whatever food programming is going to come out of this, we want to be able to tailor that to the student needs. So the survey will be going out after this. So if it's successful, we will put a survey out to the students to understand, okay, this is what the student body is wanting. Let's tailor accordingly. So
Yeah, because obviously, between, I mean, with all the possibilities that perhaps students, I mean, the next students in the next program could have, I don't know if you thought or you focus on international students who have a vegetarian diet. I mean, the reality is a lot of Indian students, for example, they don't eat meat,
Yep.
and they would like to be sure that they are eating, something that it was not prepared with a pan, or that other employees
Right.
used to prepare, for example, a burger. I mean, a burger, not vegan burgers. I mean, I'm talking about a burger with meat
Yep,
or
I understand.
bacon.
Yep.
So I don't know if you thought about this community.
So I know that we have existing vegetarian options, but I understand the specific concern that you're talking about the utilization of the equipment and the utensils that we use to cook the meals or to prepare the meals.
Yeah.
So from an operational point of view, it is too much to have. Like, it'll be a lot to have a separate equipment that only does vegetarian food, and
Yeah.
only like that we have to buy another equipment that's specifically for that. So space, money, and cost is going to be a concern in that regard if we have a specific equipment that we're only going to use, right? And for the staff working there, it's an additional task.
Okay.
So more thought has to be provided on that, and in terms of how, if there is a pressing need for something like that, and if that's a concern. It's not that we lack in vegetarian options. We have vegetarian options on campus, not just with the FSU, but also with Chartwells too. But yeah, that's we're not unaware of it. That has come up like once in a conversation that about the difference in equipment that we use. But the answer that I had from the staff at the hospitality was like, that's an extra equipment, that's more space required. And if you look at the stations that we have, you would understand where the space limitation is. So
right now, students will pay $2 per semester to make this change, but I don't know will this be enough?
So the unique thing about this referendum is that yes, we're asking for a $2 fees, food security fees for the students, but Fanshawe College has agreed to match dollar for dollar. So if you pay $2, Fanshawe College matches those $2 with another $2, and together that becomes the food security budget, and the FSU will be administering the food programming. And also, I want to say that we have connected with other members in the college, and the idea that we want to put to the student community is that caring community that we have at Fanshawe, and the triangle of that sharing community. So it's Fanshawe College, the students, and the Alumni Association. So that is the triangle that we're looking at. So we've talked with the Alumni Association, and they've agreed to support us in terms of food programming, in terms of donations, and in terms of advertising, and reaching out to the alumni community that we have. We have a very large alumni community, and they have agreed to reach out to them to support this. And we want to show the student community that it's not just the FSU that's asking for this fees, or for this need. It's all together. Everyone is coming to the front to fight this issue. And it takes numbers, right? And it takes numbers to pass the referendum, because we need a lot of people to voice their opinion and to vote for this to even pass, right? So that is required. At the same time, this was our way of ensuring that the college is also accountable and is also on the table for this decision, so that they match the dollars. And also the Alumni Association, because they're our alumni. They're part of our Fanshawe community, because they're the ones that graduated from Fanshawe. They're in different aspects of their life, and they're better able to help current students, because they also know what a student has gone through, because they were once a student. So
you have two options, yes or no, but what would you say to students thinking of voting no? Maybe they don't want their fees to increase, or they don't want them use this way. I mean, perhaps they want to invest that $2 in other kind of issues that they find here at Fanshawe College.
So for someone, obviously, if somebody wants to vote no, I would always ask like what is the reason behind the no, and obviously asking for an extra $2, even if it's an extra $2, when everyone's going through a difficult time financially. I know it's a big ask, or it's a difficult ask, but I will say this though: always look. When there is a fee increase or there is an ask for a fee, I would always say like look at what the opportunity is if it passes. So if it's a yes, and if that fee is implemented, what is the benefit that you're going to get? Yes, you're paying $2, but what is that $2 is going to give back to you, your friends, your classmates, and to other students, right? For you, $2 might be less than the cup of coffee that you're buying, right? But if that $2 goes in, it turns into $4 with the matching of the college. That turns into more free breakfast on more campuses, more services to students, and in a way, it helps us fight the fight against food insecurity. Then I would highly encourage you to vote yes. If you can take this opportunity to help your classmate or that other student on campus who you're meeting on a regular basis, you're sitting them with in the class, you're doing projects together, you're learning in the classroom, but you might not know what they're going through behind closed doors. Personally, I've been through that. I've been through food insecurity, and I know what it is to be in front of the students. It was during the election time. I was a star. Everyone knew me. It was the highlight of my student life. But behind closed doors, I was surviving on the extra protein bars that I had that I used for campaigning as part of campaigning material, but nobody knew about it. Nobody knew that this person was going through food insecurity or didn't have enough money to buy groceries to sustain himself for a month. Nobody knew that. So I really relate to that struggle because I might not know what the other person is going through, but it is a reality in the student community. No matter how much you deny it, look at the articles, look at the newspapers, look at the reality that's happening in the London community or even across Canada. You know that this exists, and we want to be able to serve our students in the best way possible, with the best programming that we can organize, and that is why we're asking for you to support this. And that is my answer if you are somebody who is on the fence or even asking you're willing to go for no.
Well, before this interview, I was talking with Hannah, the editor of Interrobank. We were talking out there will be students who are thinking perhaps that, well, next scholar year not going to be here, so why I'm going to to vote yes or no. I think it's important because it's not only for I think it's important for the next generation of the students that they have different options, because when I was a student here and I was at Fanshawe residence, for example, I missed a lot food that perhaps I was not available 1 year ago to buy it. For example, I was not available to buy everyday meat or fish, or and I missed that kind of food when I was studying. And obviously I was trying to all the time to fix the budget, but I really miss in my meal plan, for example, the possibility to buy that kind of food. So if you think when you were studying here and all the issues that you had with food, it will be great if you vote for next students who can have this problem and you can help them. So I think it's good to it will be great to think not of us. I mean, it will be great to think about the next students, because at the end we want to improve the life here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, look around you. Like, everything that you're experiencing right now was once developed or thought of, or once was an idea of somebody that came before you. They might not be here right now to experience
Absolutely.
it, but they wanted that to happen, right? One thing that I mentioned when we opened Innovation Village is I'm the most lucky of all the executives that were here because I got to open Innovation Village and be at the front and center. But I wouldn't have had that chance if 5 years ago somebody contributed to that idea, somebody signed the check, or somebody said that yes, let's
Yeah, go ahead
support this. Like,
with.
we students want to support this. They didn't know me. They didn't know I was going to come to Canada or I was going to be president. But they eventually did it. But down the line, I got to be the lucky one to experience it. So yeah, even if you might not be here, this is your chance to help that somebody else down the line. So yeah.
And Stephan, are you confident you can get the number of votes you need for this referendum to pass? I mean, with all the explanation, all our thoughts, you think people are going to vote?
See, having gone through a referendum or an attempt for clearing a referendum last year, I was determined this year that if whatever happens, like whatever initiative we take, I'm not going to admit defeat, right? I'm not going to stop. So I'm fully confident that we will get the numbers. It is a high number that has never been reached in our history. But if we do end up getting it, it'll be historic. And so because of that reason, I'm confident that we'll hit the numbers. And first and foremost, right, if I believe that if I don't have that confidence that it would pass, then I cannot convince somebody else to support it. So I personally, yes, I believe it. And my whole team is backing me up with it. And we got the support of so many people. So yes, I'm confident, and we're going to go full throttle on this. And I hope the student community responds the same way.
Finally, please remind us the days that people can vote and how they can do it. I mean,
yeah, so the voting period, it starts from March 5 to 7. So it'll be 5, 6, and 7. And there'll be 3 days of voting. You will receive the link on the first page of your FOL. So when the voting period starts and you log into your FOL, it'll be on the announcements page. There'll be a link to go vote. So you'll have your chance to vote for your choice of candidate for president, your choice of candidate for 8 directors, your choice of candidate for board of governors, and the referendum. So you'll have all these 4 choices to make. So you get one shot at picking all of those. So make sure you vote. You have 3 days to vote. And as soon as the voting starts, we will be out there campaigning and promoting the election and voting. So yeah, watch out for it and spread the word as much as you can. Share it on your stories, word of mouth, everything. We need all hands on deck for this.
And it starts at 9 a.m. So before your classes, you can vote on your mobile phone and let's go to the class. I mean,
we'll have mobile phones. We'll have polling stations in other campuses too. So there's a whole lot of ways you can vote. So yeah.
Yeah, if you are interested, go to FSU website and you can find few information to understand this referendum. And at 9 a.m. on March 4th. So you cannot miss the date.
Yep, fsu.ca/referendum. You'll get all the details. We'll have posters. We already have posters on the campus. Me and my team are setting
the announcement
up tables.
Is on Instagram.
Yes, it'll be on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be out there telling people why we're doing this. So and if you're interested to know more, obviously there's information on our website to let you know. So
that's it. It was hard. No, it was not hard.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And thank you, of course, for listening to another episode on the Red Couch podcast. You can catch up with every episode on our website or wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify. And of course, watch full episode on our YouTube channel and subscribe to our newsletter to keep up with Fanshawe. For the Interrobank, and Gracia Espinosa.